Okay, I decided not to be on 6th Street like I was Friday night because there was a car show that I found out's going to Houston, but they're like all here and they're adults mostly. There's some kids, but they're mostly adults, mostly Hispanic. There were some black people. There was mostly black people up under the bridge. Well, first I went to the parking lot where there's mostly Hispanics, and they ran them off. They said CVS called and some stuff, but the previous night they said they were free to assemble. So it's, we got some good video to show that they basically profiled large groups of people to get rid of them. And then so I went to the other parking lot. I went to the parking lot under the bridge to recharge my batteries, and I saw Quint Seebeck on the other parking lot on 6th Street, which is also TxDOT. These are Texas Department of Transportation property.
Right.
APD doesn't have any jurisdiction. I've got multiple cops telling me that on my videos in the past, so I've been documenting. This is actually a continuation of a documentation.
And we've already documented the fact that you paid for your parking.
Yeah, and I documented that too.
Right.
So even if they had taken my ticket, I had already documented. So basically there were some black people, maybe some Hispanic people, all partying. They had their, the party people, they had their cars all blinged out, and they're all got their music, and they're parking in the after hours parking is free after midnight, and it's like 1 a.m. and the cops it's probably like 12:30, and a bunch of like 10 cops show up. Garabay's over there, Queefer Sitbeck is there.
Corporal Seebeck, yeah.
Yeah, all those idiots are there, and they're harassing them. I walk up with my cameras, and they want me to leave, and Seebeck threatens to arrest me twice for criminal trespassing on public property where everybody's... So this is the problem with arbitrary rules. They never hold up in court. When you see a bunch of people going by, and it's like, oh, you with the camera. So that's never going to hold up. It hasn't held up so far with me. I've gotten all my tickets dismissed like that. And so I told him...
Well, on your receipt for your parking, it says specifically for that parking lot. It mentions the parking lot you're in.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, good. Then I'm just sitting there recharging my batteries, and some young lady moved some cones out of the way. Well, a young white lady or Hispanic lady moved some cones in a nice like black dress. So you're yuppie. Moves some cones, pulls her car in, and then you see these cones halfway across the parking lot, and so the people start coming in. A couple people, and the cops come over. Like they let a lot of people through. People were even running over metal signs and making all sorts of noise. They were just too busy in their circle of spit and lovemaking to engage any of the all these supposed laws that are so serious, which it's not their property. They don't have any business. They actually cut money away from the state by doing that. They lost hundreds of dollars. It's $8 a car. There's over 100 cars down there, maybe 200 cars.
That's thousands a week.
Yeah, they lost, just last night.
Right.
They just lost all that money because they shut it down without permission. As far as they're going to have to prove that in court. So Seebeck and them come back over. There's a couple black ladies in a nice, hoopty, fancy car with fancy rims and lights and all the stuff, right? And they pull up. And as soon as they pull up, all these cops come over. They let all these other non-minorities come in there. But then when those minorities came in, they all congregate around it. Seebeck, I got my camera out and got behind them, and I was in the parking lot. It's a public parking lot. Anybody has a right to be there, and it's part of the bridge complex. Anybody has a right to freely travel. They can't interfere with that. So Seebeck starts threatening the black lady that she's like, well, why do I have to move? Like, it's a parking lot. She doesn't understand. He's like, I'm going to arrest you. He starts threatening her. And then they see me, and they end up letting those people go and arresting me instead, so it worked out okay for them. But they didn't. Seebeck asked me if I was a customer. I said yes. And he's like, all right, turn around. And he just arrested me anyway. I told him I was a customer. I tried to talk to the sergeant, the one with glasses, the bald one. He wouldn't do anything about false arrest. He said it was an internal affairs issue.
Did you say you paid for your parking? Did you just tell him that?
Yeah. And then, I told him I was a customer. That's enough. And then, and I have proof. And then I tried to get a hold of the captain, and my Link was the arresting. I think it was Link or Thomas. One of the guys that was driving the transport wouldn't let me talk to the captain. So you have a right to ask for a supervisor. They denied my right, and they stole my camera equipment and my cell phone and took it off to their evidence room to go and hack. So that's where it's at now. And remember what happened to Antonio Bueller's $1,800 drone after they confiscated it? It wasn't working again.
Yep. I have a feeling your camera is going to be all busted to hell when they give it back to you.
It's already cracked.
Well, the SD card of the evidence of my arrest when Seebeck threw me on the ground, when they finally mailed it back to me, it was peeled apart. It looked like two pieces of notebook paper someone glued together, and then they peeled them apart and then like loosely stuck them together. It barely worked. Yeah, that's what they did with my
Why would
SD
they
card.
do the SD card like that? What purpose?
To damage the video files, I imagine. I have no idea.
Your video files?
I got them off of it.
Quinn with like that. With
Well, the one with Miss Seebeck, I mean Corporal Seebeck, yeah.
Queefer.
Queefer, yeah. Like, and if you're stumbling across this on the internet, I guess technically Seebeck is male, but
Mike
you know,
Brown, say his name.
yeah, right. Seriously.
Sandra Brown, say her name.
Yep.
Larry Gene Jackson Jr., say his name.
Yep.
Kevin Brown, say his name. Daniel Rocha, say his name. I'm here for the people. That's why I do this. I do this for the people. I protect the people. If I go to jail, somebody else usually doesn't. So I've served my purpose. They can't make any of these things stick, and I can sue to make space for us to film so that every citizen can pull out their cell phone like this and go like that. Photography is not a sin or a crime. We should be able to film. And I'm basically at the front lines. You and I and Richard, we're basically at the front lines. How come you never get arrested?
I'm very careful.
Richard's a
I was
ninja.
within the law. I hadn't done anything illegal, so I still get arrested.
Well, I don't cuss Seebeck out, which you have every right to do. I think that's called the First Amendment.
Yeah, it's called the First Amendment.
He bought his ticket. They arrested him in this parking lot for trespassing. Julian's in jail right now. He's going to get out on his own recognizance. And there's these signs here, no trespassing. But the problem is that Julian's car is locked right now, his SUV. And like I said, he's in jail.
We're in front of the police station.
Yeah. And here's his validation. Let me get a quick shot of that. Today is the 2nd. So this was purchased correctly. This is ridiculous. They're just targeting Julian for retaliatory policing. It's complete and utter bullshit. So yeah, check out Lizardo Giganticus on YouTube to find Julian's work. The guy's awesome. That's all I gotta say. They're just obviously targeting Julian for filming them and giving them shit. Contempt of cop, basically. Total bullshit.